Chris Thomas.
Mark Thompson.
You're listening to the Running Back Sports Show, Sports for the Culture. What's going on, everybody?
What's up? What's up? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. You know,
Yeah. How's your weekend?
it's pretty boring.
Boring? You ain't doing anything fun?
No, I'm just getting old, man. So like, all I did was just stay in the house.
Getting old. You're not even sniffing 30 yet. Talking about I'm getting old.
Little man, one time I had to do something like yesterday for the station.
Yeah.
And I was on my knees, so it was like as soon as I popped right back up. So as soon as I popped right back up, my knee started to hurt. I'm like, ooh.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh man,
you can't get once you get over 30, you can't get up as fast. You got to take your time. Sometimes you stand up too quick, you might get a little dizzy.
I don't know, but then again, I look at now I got to get myself together, man.
Because
honestly, I'm looking at WWE and all the guys I got now are 40 and older, and they putting in work, man. I'm just like, all right, cool. So I got to last until I'm 40. So then that's gonna be my new peak.
Yeah. What was Jay-Z saying a long time ago? 30 is the new 20.
Yeah.
So it's time to get up on it now.
Yeah.
We only get one of these things. We only get one of these bodies. So make sure we take care of it.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Yeah, same here, man.
trying to eat right and whatnot. Hit the gym I know we're supposed to get into. Oh, I see you with water.
Yeah.
Last week, for me, this was a very big victory. I only had one drink last week, and I went to the gym 3 times last week, so that's major for me.
That's good, man.
It's huge.
Oh man.
Yeah, I feel like I'm making the right steps in the right direction.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's all that matters.
I'm just trying to get ready for the summer ball session. That's it. I gotta get my revenge. I was terrible in the last. Well, no, I was okay in last summer's ball sessions. The winter, I've been absolutely horrible. Just an absolute shell of myself. So I'm just getting ready for the summer hoop sessions. That's all.
I'm just trying to get ready, so I could just be out there in country club shorts,
linen shorts, shades.
Yeah.
I hear you. So we definitely got a lot on our plate today. We'll be leading with the NFL the first hour, talking about the major news. Carson Wentz getting straight to the Indianapolis Colts. We're going to dig into that a bit. We're also going to definitely talk about the Sixers and, if it's winning time, Joel MVP. I said MVP because, I made a little mistake there, but Joel Embiid is playing like an MVP. Is it time to go out there?
He is the MVP.
Absolutely.
I fixed that for you.
No, he is the MVP. Hold on. And I got a question for that.
Okay.
So, in most cases, right, if you're the MVP, all right, we're just saying at this current moment, wouldn't that kind of make you the best player in the planet right now? Kinda.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. Because when he won it, everybody was talking about how Giannis is the best player in the world. When it comes to Joel Embiid, he has the biggest mismatch because there's nobody that is his size who has a skill set.
Yeah, nobody.
Yeah, if he can face you up and drop 20 buckets on the mid range. He can put it back to the basket and hit you with a bunch of moves.
The guy does Euro steps.
Yeah, the guy went coast to coast and hit a Euro step for a layup. I'm sorry, Giannis isn't doing that.
No, I mean, well, he is, but he's not putting together the moves the way he does.
Yeah, no,
it's not even close.
And the biggest thing about his game is that is massively improved is the fact that he's passing out of double teams.
Yeah,
even when Ben Simmons isn't playing, you're seeing Joel Embiid getting close to averaging 6 or 7 assists a game, close to we're talking Jokic numbers.
Yeah, and that's big shouts out to Doc Rivers for the floor spacing.
Yeah,
putting those shooters where they need to be, which is something that the Sixers lacked so much last season, and that's something we just begged for.
Yeah,
and now look at it.
Yeah.
So he's definitely Embiid is seeing the double team so much better. He's easily at this current moment because it could change.
Yeah,
LeBron was leading the MVP race for a good amount of the season. If depending on where you are in the country, they'll say LeBron was leading the race. All right, AD falls out. LeBron's not doing any load management or anything like that, playing every single game. Well, with the Lakers starting to lose a stretch of games, Embiid mess around, drops 50 and 17 and 5 in one game. Yeah, that could, and still being number 1 in the Eastern Conference, that could definitely put you in a front runner for being the MVP. So at this very moment, it's definitely safe to say that Embiid is probably the best player on the planet.
Yeah, and even when the games where he's not playing, you can clearly see the night and day difference when he's in the lineup and when he isn't in the lineup.
Yeah.
But that's nearly 30 points a game that you're missing. That's your half court offense that you're missing.
Everything.
And that's your defensive anchor that you're missing also.
Here's my thing. I feel like we kind of take Embiid for granted. Like how often?
I don't.
Hold on, but I'm gonna tell you why.
Certain fans do.
But. Certain fans do, but when's the last time you heard someone like even mention Embiid's defense? It's always Simmons and Thibault. Like a lot of that's not possible because you can't go to the paint. Like that perimeter defense is definitely anchored by the paint.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just knowing you got Joel Embiid behind you, you can make some mistakes.
Yeah,
he does not. I do not hear them even mention him when it comes to defense anymore.
Yeah, like when you go to the paint, the ability to alter shots. Him deflecting basketballs. Which I'm seeing a lot more this year. Like he's like stripping guys who are like going to the
stripping guards.
Yes.
I saw him go out in that Toronto game. I saw him go out and play perimeter defense against Pascal Siakam. He was way above the 3-point line. He was almost at freaking half court. Clamped him the whole way down. I'm like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me Joel Embiid not only protects the paint, but he can play perimeter defense on Pascal Siakam? And definitely, like, Siakam had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Easy money.
Yeah.
So I know we're going to get more into that in the 6 o'clock hour, talking about our Philadelphia 76ers.
Absolutely. And if you want to call or join in discussion, ask us some questions. Mark, you want to drop that call number?
The number is 215-763-9596.
Yeah. But, like we said, we always start football at the top of the hour. And, but like, unfortunately, we can only do the show once a week here.
Yeah.
So once, like even after the show, like once big news happens, you can't hear from us from like until Tuesday.
Yeah.
Every week from 5 to 7.
That's okay. But, that's why we produce our own content.
Yeah. So obviously the news broke out, a few days after our show, like I believe this past weekend, going into last weekend, was Carson Wentz getting traded to the Indianapolis Colts for a 3rd-round pick this year and a conditional 2nd-round pick where if Carson Wentz plays 75% of the games and if they make the playoffs, he plays 70% of the snaps, it will turn into a 1st-round pick. So essentially, you trade him for a 2nd and a 3rd. And
which is most likely going to end up being a 1st because you would hope that he would be healthy. That's all.
Yeah. And the Philadelphia Eagles will take on the largest dead cap hit in NFL history with $33.2 million.
That hurts.
And it's looking like, and honestly, draft and free agency pending, it's looking like Jalen Hurts is going to be the quarterback one going into the next season. So
go ahead. So tell me how you felt.
No, I'll let you start off.
Yeah, first. Because I'm not as hurt as you. I was calling it like, I don't know, like week 10 that he was getting traded to the Colts. One of my cousin, he's like a huge Colts fan. And I was like, look, y'all either getting Andrew Luck back or y'all going to get Carson Wentz. It's that simple. It was written all over the wall. Like, it's no shock. Hearing the Chicago stuff, I wanted nothing to do with the Nick Foles crap again. Absolutely nothing to do with a glorified backup. I mean, him and Ryan Fitzpatrick are in the same class, in my opinion. Only difference is Nick Foles was able to win the Philadelphia Eagles the Super Bowl. At the end of the day, I'll leave it at this. I always had high hopes for Carson. It's just, it's a little frustrating because he did play bad. And it wasn't, completely all this season. And even though last year he had some historical numbers out there with playing with complete bums for the most part. I'm not going to say bums, but definitely practice squad guys. Not guys who are truly, if we're being honest, worthy enough to be on an NFL field. But I give Carson Wentz all the respect whatsoever. He was great for us here in Philadelphia. One thing I do want to mention because it's brought up a lot. Like I know that 2017 season he went 11-2 for us and was leading in MVP and votes and whatnot. Like he was the man before he got hurt in that Rams game, and then he throws a spectacular touchdown with that torn ACL. But one thing I do want to kind of remind people is like at the end of the day, injuries happen, and he didn't get that MVP, unfortunately. His 11-2 record was absolutely outstanding to the point where we were able to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and Nick Foles were able to take the keys to the whip and was able to go out there and get us that Super Bowl, that illustrious Lombardi trophy that we've been longing for so many years. So I do appreciate everything that Carson Wentz has done here in Philadelphia. Wish him the best. I got like no ill will towards him because at the end of the day, I know it wasn't all on him. I know he's not the one who constructs the offensive line. I know he's not the one who's picking the receivers. I know he's not the one out there playing secondary. I know he's doing everything that he possibly can to make this Philadelphia team right. A lot of rumors coming out about, him and Doug not talking and Carson changing plays at the line. I mean, okay, if someone's changing plays at the line, it's not necessarily to sabotage. It's you see something that's a little bit different and you think you can capitalize off it. All right, well, that's what the great ones do. You go to the line and make adjustments. How many times did we see Peyton Manning walk up and all you hear is Omaha 42, this, like, just doing what quarterbacks are supposed to do. So that rumor right there about Carson and Doug not talking and their relationship being toxic, it's just, honestly, in my opinion, it's just all to somehow protect Howie and for him to continue to keep his job, which is crazy, and it's still concerning. I like Jalen Hurts a lot, but the person who constructed the team is still there, and that's the biggest problem for me. So what much is going to change? Is he going to take advice from others, people who actually understand how to look at football talent and say, hey, this is a fit for us? Or, hey, you know what? We need to protect our quarterback. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should start drafting some offensive linemen. Yeah, I get it that we could use some receivers and whatnot and some weapons, but if your quarterback don't have time, you saw it simple as day in the Super Bowl. Pat Mahomes looked pedestrian. They only put up 9 points because his O-line was horrendous in the Super Bowl. So at least start with the O-line there. I would start inside out, if that makes any sense. O-line, wide receivers, running back. That's how I would start. I mean, it's unfortunate because we're at a rebuild point. Like, where Sundays are going to be because we're loyal fans, but we know there's nothing to look forward to. We know we can't really afford to sign anyone, but we're going to still rock out on Sundays, and we're going to still, because we bleed green, we're still going to wish the best for Hurts. And, we might be salty if Carson Wentz pulls a Drew Brees when Miami opted not to sign him after having that shoulder injury and then going to the Saints, and they went with Dante Culpepper instead of Drew Brees. All right, then we just going to be hurt. But as far as Carson Wentz's situation in Indianapolis, he's got everything for him. And it's the complete opposite of how it was here. He's got a great offensive line. He's got a couple of targets that he can hit. Pretty solid defense. Got a good running game. He literally has everything there for him in Indianapolis. So if it doesn't work out, then, hey, maybe it was Carson the entire time. But only time will tell. So that's my take on Carson Wentz. Wish him the best. The Philadelphia Eagles organization right now is a dumpster fire. We just up there like with the Jets and Jacksonville, and it's just like how crazy that it happens so quickly within being a few years removed from a Super Bowl, and now we're rebuilding. Like that's not like supposed to happen.
And once again, you're listening to WJYA 98.5 Red Bat Sports Show, Sports for the Culture. Chris Thomas, Mark Thompson.
Yep.
We're talking Philadelphia Eagles. And then the other top of the hour, we're going to talk Philadelphia 76ers and also a bunch of NFL and NBA topics as well. Also, a few other interesting, developing topics that have happened, during this past weekend and even today.
Yep.
However, all right, here's my thing. When the trade happened, I didn't know how to feel about this, and I saw some certain radio personalities, some media personnel, who already had a axe to grind with Carson Wentz as soon as he got drafted here, celebrating like this is a great day for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm like, this is not a great day. This is nothing to celebrate over.
No,
like nothing about this trade is worth celebrating over, because here the thing is this: last year when Here's the thing. When Phillip Rivers had that bad last year with the Chargers through 20 interceptions, when Phillip Rivers went to the Chargers and reunited with Frank Wright, Rivers' completion percentage jumped up from 66 to 68% completion percentage. Touchdowns, 23 to 24. Quarterback rating, 88.5 to 97. QBR, 50.5 to 62.5. His interceptions also went down from 20 the previous year to 11 last year. And now you're talking about Carson Wentz taking over a team that's 11-5. They gave up 65 sacks as a team, 50 when Carson Wentz was in there, and Carson Wentz only played 12 games. He was on pace to get sacked more than the NFL record, which was Derek Carr's brother, which ironically you're wearing his jersey, which back in 2002 when Houston's first year as an expansion team. So this offensive line that had 14 combinations in 16 games was on pace to give up more sacks than an expansion team in their first year in the league. So Carson Wentz is going to a scenario in which a Colts team in which is altogether gave up 19 sacks last year. Quentin Nelson is probably the best pure offensive lineman all in football.
Definitely.
You're talking about Ryan Kelly. Anthony Costanzo retired, but they still have their first round pick, so they can easily fill that hole. T.Y. Hilton's a free agent, so I'm not sure if they're going to bring him back, but you still got guys like Michael Pittman, Zach Pascal, Jonathan Taylor, nice good third down passing back, and Nyheim Hines, and a Colts defense that got better because of the addition of DeForest Buckner.
Yep.
Pretty much, this is a playoff team. And honestly, you can even argue that maybe if they had a much better quarterback than what Phillip Rivers, maybe they probably would have beaten the Bills. But we'll never know. Hindsight's 2020. The Bills were that good last year. They made it to the AFC Championship game. But on the surface, like, there's nothing to celebrate if you're an Eagles fan. You're talking about a guy, after you give this guy an extension, and the guy who's still in charge out of everybody between the big three, Doug Peterson, Carson Wentz, and Howie Roseman, you kept the worst one of the three. It doesn't make any sense. Like, Doug Peterson's took a year off. Jim Schwartz pretty much retired. Two of the top guys who were in charge of, who's the reason why we won the Super Bowl, decided to you know what, I'm just taking a year off because I can't deal. Because after dealing with, Howie Roseman and this Philadelphia Eagles organization, it just tells you how toxic it is. Yep. But listen, this is not an indictment of Jalen Hurts. I want people to realize, I don't hate Jalen Hurts. I really don't. But he is coming into a situation where hopefully the offensive line is fully healthy. Brandon Brooks, Lane Johnson, they get their injury, come back fully healthy and, reestablish the offensive line. You're talking about, a wide receiver core that is nothing to write home about, but, most of the guys are rookies and second years. They let go of Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson. So the veteran in that locker room is Greg Ward.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a leader, you tell me.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And, eventually they're going to let go of Zach Ertz as well. That's what I've been hearing. If
release or trade?
If they can't find a trade partner, it's going to be released. And obviously, the rule of thumb. Why am I giving you draft picks when I could just wait it out and get them for free?
Yeah.
So, but my thing is that this is a complete organizational failure. Carson Wentz did have his faults. You can't control, if you get whether or not you get hurt. That's just something you can't control.
Yeah, part of the game.
Yeah. But when, the turnovers, holding the ball for way too long, which allowed, sacks and fumbles, that's something you can't control, and that's something he didn't fix. But when you look at over the past 5 years of the draft, there was only one Pro Bowler on this roster that was actually drafted by the team, and that's the guy you actually traded.
Yep.
So you botched on a bunch of drafts. I'm pretty sure the entire 2017 draft that you have is pretty much going to be gone after you cut Derek Barnett. But listen, you didn't hit on any of the wide receivers as much as you wanted to. None of these guys had the impact like DK Metcalf or Justin Jefferson had.
Nope.
Your offensive line, especially on the right side with Kelsey Brooks and Lane Johnson, you're getting a little long in the tooth when it comes to age and injuries. And you don't have a replacement for, Jason Kelsey lined up yet. And more importantly, as much as everybody wants to talk about the offense, the defense is a lot worse off. It's way older, and the depth in terms of development is not that good. Your secondary outside of Darius Slay is absolutely terrible. Yep. Rodney McLeod's coming off of ACL. I don't know what we have at Kevon Wallace. Avonte Maddox is not a starting cornerback. He's a slot corner at best, which is why I keep trying to tell people, if you want to change him in positions, try moving him to safety. But he's a slot corner at best, which is why I was like, listen, this is the draft in which you need to go cornerback heavy. But you have no starting caliber linebackers. I like Alex Singleton, but I'm not hedging my bets on him. Your offense and your defensive line, which you commit $70 million to, is getting old. I mean, Fletcher Cox, he does what he does, but the guy leaves very frequently now out of games because of injury.
Yep. And
listen, Javon Hargrave, he's such a bust for the sign. And Malik Jackson spent more games on IR than he actually did on the field. Derek Barnett, he was your first round pick. He's going to get cut. Josh Sweat's a rotational guy because of that serious knee injury that he has. He's never going to be a legitimate starter in this league because of that injury. But this team is an absolute mess. And as much as you want to put all that blame on Carson Wentz did have his fair share, but at some point it's like this: why would I continue to put myself through a job in which I feel underappreciated?
Yeah.
Don't have the resources to work, and you just expect me to just shut up and get over and continue to work. Here's my thing: let's just say you're let's just say like you work at a car dealership and like you're a salesman and you feel like, given the circumstances because of location and everything else, you do the job to your best ability, and they bring in somebody else to not only pretty much comes to take your job. Are you going to feel some type of way about that, or you're going to be like, okay, listen, we're not really making that much money, so you're going to bring somebody in to try to cut me and pretty much cut my salary because of that? No, right. I'm going to feel some type of way about that.
Right.
So all this thing talking about, how Carson Wentz is soft and, how much he didn't want to work. Listen, if you feel underappreciated at a job, listen, in the end, it's a job. You go where you are appreciated. That's why, in my opinion, like, I don't care that much about, players going, and NBA players in particular, because they have more power and leeway to do that, go wherever they want. That's why I didn't care about the Kevin Durant signing, because if you're telling me I can go to a situation in which I could do a third of the work and I could still get credited for a championship and like still win finals MVP. Yeah, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go in which I can maximize my opportunity, maximize my bank account, and make sure that I get the best return for my investment. In the end, it's a job and it's an investment.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you're only as good as like your leadership, your management.
Yeah.
And that's essentially where it goes.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like people really don't understand, like, and more importantly, like, it's kind of funny, like Draymond Green talked about it last week. It was like, there's not enough pressure on, management in terms of in these teams.
Yeah.
Because they can go ahead and they can do whatever they want. But if a player wants out, then everybody's going to feel some type of way, call them a diva, call them a cancer, all that stuff. I mean, listen, Howie Roseman's the problem. Everybody
knows it.
And everybody knows it. And people still want to blame the players for not wanting to be here. I wouldn't want to be here either.
Right. There's no direction.
Yeah.
Like literally, like, at least now we know, like, the only direction at this point can only be up. It can't get any worse than this.
Yeah.
I mean, now that Carson Wentz is no longer here, I mean, you got Alshon Jeffrey officially getting cut or released. You got Deshaun Jackson officially getting released. And they're also talking about Malik Jackson possibly getting released as well. I mean, that's going to free up some cap room, but like, what can we do? Like, what can we do taking that cap hit?
$43 million under the hole, even with all of that.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't going to be some quick fix.
No.
And if we had somebody who actually knew how to draft and, like, like evaluate talent, I will feel a lot better. But that's why I don't feel that. Like, the hardest thing to nail in the NFL is a franchise quarterback.
Yep. Look at the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
It's been, maybe 20 years?
Yeah.
They had Marino for 15. Yeah. And they haven't found another quarterback since. It's been 20 years.
You look at them, look at the San Francisco 49ers. They were in the Super Bowl a few years ago, but you're telling me if they can find a quarterback that was better than Jimmy Garoppolo, they probably win that Super Bowl.
Possibly.
Yeah. And you look at the Jets, like the Jets, sure, they made the AFC Championship game with Mark Sanchez, but in the end, that's Mark Sanchez.
Yeah.
Like, your defense can only do but so much. But in the end, you need a quarterback who is either a legitimate franchise guy or he just catch fire at the right time.
Yeah, truth be told, there's not really a lot of those. Like, I feel like nowadays a lot of these, especially the way that these GMs are picking quarterbacks, there you know how like there's like only like a surplus of running backs in NCAA. Yeah. I feel like that's kind of how they're using these quarterbacks, but a lot of these quarterbacks are super overrated. Like, even who's the kid from what's it called? Oklahoma, Mac Jones?
Yeah.
Like him.
Alabama.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Alabama. Him, they're forcing him on us already. And he ain't even gonna be that good. Like, that's just how I feel.
He's not. Like, I saw like a
but he's gonna get paid. Watch.
Yeah, no, like I saw like Tana Mom said, like, I could see him going to number 8 to the Carolina Panthers. I'm like,
he's not even top 10 for real.
Like,
for real.
Number 8, are you serious? So like, if Trey Lance is still on the board, you're gonna take him? Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about a guy who had Najee Harris. You're talking about a guy who's played with legitimate like 3 or 4 first round pick guys.
Yep.
On the offensive line, I'm talking about offensive line and a skill position.
Yeah, they're a football team. Like,
yeah, so
NFL team.
And you expect me to take the guy who had the luxury of throwing to Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, and handing it off to Najee Harris behind the best offensive line in the country? Like, no. Like that. He's a guy in which he needs the right circumstances for him to fit. And the fact that he's going to be picked top 10, like, he's not a franchise changer. He needs a guy in which, and like, all the circumstances and situations need to be perfect for him. Like, him going to like New England at 15, yeah, I can see that because Bill Belichick is perfect at team building.
Yep.
And or if he gets drafted to a later team like the Saints, who already has a playoff caliber roster. Drew Brees is gone, and he's going to be coming into a scenario in which he's thrown to Emmanuel Sanders, Mike Thomas, and Alvin Kamara. Like, that's perfect for him.
Yep.
But if you're expecting him to come in and be a franchise quarterback like you're expecting like a Trevor Lawrence to be, then no. And honestly, like, I feel like people really don't get like the art of building around a franchise quarterback. It's not that hard, but people make it seem like it's pulling teeth.
It's not.
And the thing is that if you have a guy like if a franchise, like the general manager and owner are sold on a guy, but your coach isn't, either one or two things need to happen. Number one, get rid of, if you're really sold on the guy that's coming out, get rid of the coach. Because we saw that with Vince Young. Jeff Fisher wanted absolutely nothing to do with Vince Young at all.
Right.
I like, honestly, like, and I held a grudge from Vince Young because he beat USC in the Rose Bowl, but
he did his thing though.
Yeah, I know he did, but I was a USC fan back then. But big Reggie Bush fan. He's the reason why I got into college football.
Oh yeah.
But no, like, but we can clearly see his day. Like, he wanted absolutely nothing to do with him. Like, he benched him for Billy Volek and Kerry Collins. He never really got an opportunity to really learn from a coach that actually wanted him and to improve his game. Or, you know, a circumstance in which you saw in Washington a few years ago with RG3. Mike Shanahan wanted absolutely nothing to do with RG3. He wanted Kirk Cousins, which they also drafted.
Yep.
But we also saw that's a complete organizational failure as well. The franchise did not protect their investment. They traded picks to go up to get RG3 also. So in that playoff game in which he's hobbling around, he was like, no, sit down, because you're going to be our guy for the next 10 to 15 years. This playoff game in your rookie year means absolutely nothing to us in the long run.
Right.
And they did it. And that's the reason why he's a backup now instead of, you know, being, you know, in like a several years started.
Well,
like
injuries definitely plays a lot towards RG3, because RG3 was up next. Like he really came in and put on.
Yeah, that's what I was talking. Yeah, and that's the main thing I was talking about, because the Washington didn't protect him.
No, of course not.
So like that playoff game, I'm sitting you down, but they allowed him to go back in there. I don't care like how much you want to win this game, dude. Sit down.
So
you're limping around. I'm not playing you.
Have you looked at it this way? Think about this, right? So think about the protection that like Tom Brady has, right? Think about like the protection that Aaron Rodgers gets, right? Protection Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Ryan Tannehill.
I know where you're going with this.
You see the pattern, but hold on. Let me talk to you about Lamar Jackson. You know him. Kyler Murray. This guy possibly wants out of Seattle, and they're talking about 3 first-round picks for him. You see where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is probably the only brother that has protection. Well, he had it until the Super Bowl. So it's like this, right? It's like a gift and a curse being a black quarterback, because all right, so you have all the talent, right? You have the talent, you got the arm, you got the speed, the athleticism, whatever. The main thing the only knock that they say on all the black quarterbacks, and you can just shuffle them. They say the same thing about every single one of them is, oh, well, it's probably the decision making, and you know, if they're actually have the mental capacity to run a offense or something like that, right? But what happens is what teams aren't, like, people aren't recognizing is they're actually using these guys' talents against them in a way. So just because someone is athletic enough to get out of the pocket and do whatever they have to do to in order that they can make a play for the team, it's somewhat of a hindrance, because it's like, well, imagine if you actually protected this guy, then, you know, give him some pieces and like your last resort, let me get out of here and scramble. Like, imagine Russell Wilson behind that offensive line Tom Brady just had. That'd be crazy all the time. But now it's like, okay, no offensive line and no weapons. How come that continues to happen with black quarterbacks? No offensive line, no weapons. Why?
Well, for starters, Russell Wilson has DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett.
Okay, how effective were those weapons in the playoffs? And let's talk about Russell Wilson's entire career. He hasn't really had a whole lot of weapons. Like, if you talk about their biggest success was when they won that Super Bowl. Mainly all defense and power run. At the time in Russell Wilson's career, he was probably a game manager. Now he's definitely an elite quarterback. He is an elite quarterback now. So it's just like, he never truly had weapons. And now that quarterbacks are starting to speak out. Like I was talking about last week, you know, the NBA influence is definitely starting to get into the NFL a bit. So now players are speaking out. And I don't think there's anything wrong with speaking out, especially if you're a quarterback. Essentially, you're the franchise player. You're the face of the team. Like that's automatically anointed to you. So I don't think it hurts where it's like, yo, listen, y'all want to continue to, have me carry this team and do this and do that? Well, here's some of my requests. All right. I'm getting banged up every single week. Please help me with the offensive line. All right, cool. Offensive line is great. Our defense is pretty stable. Doing what they got to do. Give me a couple weapons that I can hit so we can go further, like win Super Bowls. Not only put butts in the stands, get your money taken care of. Like let's win. Like let's continue. Let's build on that. I don't think a lot of these owners really be concerned and worried about that. It's all about their money. And you can tell from like the certain teams who actually do care because they show it with their improvements. And it's a lot of the same teams every single year who are always in the neck and always in a race to possibly win a Super Bowl. So it's not even as many different Super Bowl champions as there are. There's a lot of the same formula and a lot of the same teams are, at least around. It's not like as clear cut as the NBA. Like we know that. Like it's not clear cut and it's not just completely random like baseball. But who's around in the NFL for the most part. But with that being said, if you're going to have a franchise quarterback, you should definitely work with their strengths. Not what you think is going to work your scheme and work your system. No, you work around their strengths. That's the only way you're going to truly improve.
Yeah, once again, you're listening to Uptown Radio, WJY at 98.5 Run Back Sports Show, Sports for the Culture. Chris Thomas, Mark Thompson here. Talking to NFL. If you want to join the discussion, Mark, you want to get that call number?
Absolutely. That number is 215-763-9596.
Okay.
Lines are wide open.
Yeah, man. If you want to call in, join the discussion, we're here. We're here until 7 p.m.
All right. So let me ask you this, right? So I know maybe a couple months back, right? We were having a little this back in the middle when the Eagles are just playing terrible. We're just going with the flow. And one of the questions I asked was like, who are some young guys that we can look into for the future? So like now what? Like to be honest, like I like Miles Sanders, but he wasn't like a Dalvin Cook, not like a Saquon Barkley dude. Like I like him, but is he like a staple?
Well, then again, he doesn't get enough touches
True.
like those guys in order for us to really deduct whether or not. I mean, like the few times that he did show game breaking ability, but I feel like we still definitely
can we go into the future with him? I mean, we don't really know.
I mean, immediate future, sure, but I feel like we still need like a power back to complement him as well.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah, but future wise, I like Jordan. I like Jordan Malai a lot. He was asked to do a lot because Andre Dillard got hurt, and then Jason Peters. Eventually when he got hurt, he did an admirable job. As a swing tackle, both right and left guard. I feel like that's definitely something you can build upon going into the future. And I feel like that's going to be a really good battle,
right?
This summer between him and Dillard battling for that left tackle spot. As far as everybody else, in terms of future wise,
it's tough.
Yeah. Listen,
that's the sad part about it.
Listen, I'm in the small minority. I like what I saw from Travis Fulgham. He had
I thought his route running ability was incredible.
Yeah, no, route running is good. Like his feet work reminds me like a baby Devontae Adams.
Yeah,
not to that degree. I'm not calling him the next Devontae Adams.
No,
but I like what I saw. The way that
he could create separation.
Yeah, he can create separation. He had 5 straight games when he was on the field starting. He had 5 straight games of 70 yards or more.
Yep.
In games, like when you give him the opportunity, to go out and run those routes, and you throw the ball to him, he actually was able to do something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be interesting to see. I'm curious to see how Sirianni, does this offense, because the biggest thing for him is that he is big on wide receivers and he's big on concepts of getting wide receivers open. So I'm curious to see how he's going to be able to scheme guys like Travis Fulgham open. How's he going to scheme Jalen Reagor open? We still got 2 other speedsters that we drafted last year, Quez Watkins and John Hightower. And the limited time that we've shown them, they've also shown, that they can also get, separation with their speed as well. So I'm curious. Probably the only takeaway this year is I want to see how this, year 2, of these wide receivers, because you're coming in with a bunch of 2nd and 3rd year guys.
Yeah.
With Greg Ward being the veteran.
I'd say the only bright spot, hopefully, because there's still a lot of question marks at quarterback. Even I like Jalen Hurts. I would love for us to build around him and us use him. I feel like the direction of the quarterback in the NFL is the African American quarterback, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And that's just how it needs to be. Yeah, I like Jalen Hurts, but like I said, the uncertainty. But for me, maybe Dallas Goedert. It's like the only part like I'm excited about in the future. I'm not 100%. Like I said, I'm not sure about Miles Sanders because like one, he gets banged up a lot, and two, we haven't seen enough to ensure like, hey, this can be a guy that's going to be with us for future. Like he's going to be a game changer.
This is going to be really unpopular in my opinion.
Go for it.
I don't see Dallas Goedert as like, this tight end one like everybody else. I don't see, this Travis Kelce, this George Kittle potential in him. I don't. And as much as you like to make fun and like everybody else called, Zach Ertz, no yak Zach, but Zach Ertz's route running is good. His hands are reliable, and once again, whenever you throw at him in the end zone, he has a high percentage of getting that ball and scoring touchdowns. Listen, Dallas Goedert is more athletic than him, and I feel like a better run blocker. But there was nothing in any of those games that I saw, even when Zach Ertz being out, that signified I was like, you know what, this guy is going to be next up. This guy's going to be in that top 5, tight end category league. I didn't see that last year.
For me, it's more of the size. I like his toughness. When the ball's thrown his direction, he goes up and grab it. The only thing that frustrates me a little bit is he sometimes reminds me of LJ Smith. Like, remember when LJ Smith would like run too much and would just scare you, thinking that he would fumble?
Listen, please don't say that name ever again.
Yeah,
please don't.
Yeah,
I hated LJ Smith.
I hated him too. Like, he was annoying because every time like he would catch it, he would be running, and it's like, yo, hold that ball, hold that. Oh my, he dropped it again. Like, that's the only thing like that makes me nervous about him, because he doesn't really protect the ball like that when he is running, getting those extra yards and everything. But if he works on his ball security, I think he's really good. Like, once again, and he's, like I said, big target, good hands. He can move a little bit. His run blocking is great. I like Dallas Goedert. I really do.
Yeah. And
that's why I've been okay with us trading Zach Ertz. I was saying trade Zach Ertz last draft. Like, why you can get quality and I'm sorry, good compensation for him.
But also at the same time, I understood why they didn't, because it was a pandemic. It's a shortened season. There was a lot of uncertainty. Like, number one, you probably weren't going to get the return that you think you were for, trading Zach Ertz because of the contract that, a lot of teams were going to eat.
But think about the return we're about to get now. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. But, listen, once again, Howie's in charge. So Howie was thinking, like, you know what, maybe we can make, one last run. And, it blew up in his face.
Let, like, Zach Ertz go to, like, Seattle or something and, like, watch him be annoyingly good.
Yeah.
And it's going to be frustrating. And they got him for pennies on the dime.
That's actually a good place for him.
I think that'd be a fantastic place for him.
Yeah.
It'd be a wonderful security blanket for Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
That might brighten his day up right away. Get him a couple guys who can block for him and another solid weapon.
Yeah, but Zach Ertz can't block.
He ain't there to block. He there to be a security blanket. But go ahead.
Yeah. No, but
it's tough, man. The City Eagles is really bad.
But it's hard for me to gauge like who's actually, these future guys going forward, because, overall, like, the Eagles have a fundamentally bad season with like little to no bright spots. There's nothing to build upon. You have a brand new coaching staff.
Yep.
You're trying to get rid of like these old contracts that, pretty much like Howie Roseman is kind of like, he did what I did, deferred payments in terms of the salary cap. Like, listen, I'm just going to push this off.
Push it off till September.
Yeah. So like, I'm going to push this off to the next year and the following year. Now there's really nothing that he can really do about it. And in terms of like, trying to sign free agents or like trying to extend some money, because you don't really have any money to do that.
Yeah.
So
it's a bad time. And then right on the Colts side, for example, they're basically getting, if everything works out for Carson Wentz, they're basically getting like a franchise quarterback for like $98 million, like, which is a major steal compared to how much Dak is still asking for, and like basically $40 million. Like, think about that. Like, from their end, they're like, yo, we got our guy.
And they kept their first round pick this year, and they got still over $50 million in cap space for when free agency starts.
Yeah.
That's how you GM.
Right. That's how you run a football team.
Yeah. And shout outs to Chris Ballard, because I think Frank Wright, signing them was the guy because Josh McDaniels, slighted them.
Yeah.
But when you see the work that he's done over the years, in my opinion, getting, Quentin Nelson falling in the 6, which helped really stabilize the offensive line to help Andrew Luck. Getting Zach Pascal, drafting Michael Pittman Jr., getting Jonathan Taylor, and using using draft picks to get DeForest Buckner as well.
Yep.
It's perfect team building. So if Carson Wentz can come in, he's coming in with a legitimate good offensive line, young weapons.
His bed is already made.
Yeah, the bed's already made, and they were 11-5 last year,
right?
And in a division in which I really pretty much see little to no resistance. Like Houston's a mess, Jacksonville's rebuilding, and we don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Tennessee.
It could be really something different over there if everything works out for Indianapolis.
Yeah,
which is crazy, and big shouts out to them, because I thought with them losing Andrew Luck, I'm like, all right, well, these guys are about to plummet, and then Jacoby Brissett comes in and just steps up in hoops, and then Phillip Rivers comes in and essentially does the same thing, limits his turnovers, and still get them to an 11-5 record. And then you get a guy in Carson Wentz who's 29, 30 years old, who's still possibly he's 28. Wow, okay, dang, I thought he was a little older, but 28 years old, who's possibly still got, I don't know, at the rate with Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and what's his name, Drew Brees, he could play another 12 years.
Yeah,
which is absolutely insane.
And honestly, once again, I'm an advocacy when it comes to players, getting a nice change of scenery.
For sure.
Chris Carter, was a Philadelphia Eagle at one time.
Oh, absolutely.
However,
a lot of people don't even know that.
Yeah.
Or are aware that he's a Philadelphia Eagle.
Yeah, growing up, he was one of my favorite receivers because his name was Chris. But listen, I'm a simple man. I look for representation, and if the representation fits me, I latch on to that.
As it should.
Yeah. So when I saw left-handed quarterbacks, I'm like, this guy's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He was like Chris, that's Mark Brunell. I'm like, yeah, but he's left-handed like me. He's awesome. But no, but yeah, Chris, he was open and honest about listen, he had a lot of issues off the field, drug problems. Then they, traded him away to Minnesota, and he had a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill, same thing. He was with Adam Gase in Miami, got a bunch of injuries, went to be a backup in Tennessee. Marcus Mariota wasn't cutting it. He comes in, and once again, they were in the playoffs.
Boom.
Back-to-back years.
Yeah.
Drew Brees, like you said earlier, goes to New Orleans. Nobody saw that coming.
Nah.
Nobody.
Nah.
And 5 years later, he's a Super Bowl champion and he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. And who's got almost every quarterback record right now.
Absolutely. So listen, in the end, change of scenery, it's not just the fact that you're going into a better team. It's you're going into a team that fully supports you, will give you everything that you can. It does so much for also your mental state as well.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's when you go to a job and you can't stand working there, it's going to be hell for you because you don't want to be there.
Yep.
But when you go to a situation, when you go to a job, you go to a situation in which you feel appreciated, the energy is great, you're gonna feel great, and your work is gonna reflect on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of people get confused. I know for example, you look at Blake Griffin, right? Yeah. We talked about him a little bit last week. He's playing in Detroit where they're bad. He gets an opportunity to play somewhere else where it's a great organization and he has a chance to win. For all we know, Blake Griffin turns back the clock or absolutely plays. Or you can look at Markelle Fultz for an example. Markelle Fultz, when he was here in Philly, hey, we did everything we could to support him and be behind him and, try to help this kid out through his mental issues and shoulders, et cetera, et cetera. But before he tore his ACL this season, I was loving him for Orlando. And it finally worked out that change of scenery for him. So we'll see what happens with Carson Wentz. Who knows? Unfortunately, it could possibly be one of those moments where the Eagles stink it up and they're out of the playoffs early. And it's a situation where where people are secretly voting for the Chiefs to achieve because of that relationship with Andy Reid, or, we're out of the playoffs and Carson Wentz and the Colts are in there doing it. I don't want to be that guy at all. I only want to see my Eagles succeed, but there's going to be people out there who are going to be still on the Wentz wagon and just, rocking out.
Yeah. Once I have no ill will towards him. Anything, he had his faults, but in the end, this is cumulative over the last 5 years. They did not support him.
Nope.
Or accommodate him properly over the last
and
5 years.
We knew this day was coming.
Yeah.
I think I don't know about you, but for me personally, I thought we could have got a little more for him.
You weren't going to get more.
And that's the thing that hurts because we gave up so much to move up to get him.
New contract kicking in, coming off the worst season. We were lucky we didn't have to give Indianapolis anything more than what we got back.
True.
Because it could be a situation in which
Gave up picks like didn't the Rams give up picks?
Yeah, the Rams gave up picks.
They gave up Jared Goff.
Yeah, and they had to take the dead cap, $23 million dead cap hit for Jared Goff as well.
Jeez.
So they're not going to have a first-round draft pick until 2024, but they get a quarterback in return, in which, who's also was in a bad situation in Detroit. Yep. Having to carry, a bad Detroit team in which offensive line wasn't really that good. Mass exodus of coaching changes. And, they didn't have a 100-yard rusher until, I believe, since 2014, until Kerryon Johnson a few years ago.
Yo, you want to hear a crazy stat that I heard today? Yeah. Matthew Stafford had the most game-winning drives last decade in 32. And it's but how? Detroit don't, do nothing. They really don't do nothing, but I guess they're always trailing. That's why he had those game-winning drives. But that's an insane stat. 32 game-winning drives.
Yeah, and we're also talking about one of the gutsiest quarterbacks also in the league as well.
Yeah.
Like this guy's arm is literally just dangling and off, and he still had the energy enough to go out there and throw a game-winning touchdown pass.
Tough. He's definitely tough. I know we got about 15 minutes left before we jump into the NBA segment.
Yeah, and once again, you're listening to Running Back Sports Show, Sports for the Culture. Chris Thomas, Mark Thompson. If you want to call in, give that call number, Mark.
Number is 215-763-9596. We're diving in, talking about the big news on the Carson Wentz trade, and then also talking a little bit about Jalen Hurts and how he'll be at the moment running the helm. Yeah. So a video came out this weekend.
Yeah.
Where a young bull was disrespecting Cam Newton. Yeah. And it sounds like Cam Newton was there to, coach up the young bulls, give them some guidance, et cetera, et cetera. And the young bull, I gotta call him a young bull because he definitely screamed out 215 in the additional, in the second video that I saw. Even though
he was I read the 215, I'm like, oh god, of course he's from Philly.
Nah, but what makes it even worse? He's not from Philly. He's from Royersford. I saw online he's from Royersford.
I thought he was from Collegeville.
It's close enough.
Yeah,
they're all close enough. It ain't really in the city where we at. That's like 610-ish, but it's cool. But anywho, my main question is this: number one, it's uber disrespectful, uber disrespectful, right? That's major. And then just think about the reason that Cam was there. I get it. You may be a competitor. You're excited, whatever, but that was super disrespectful. So now, as a young bull, how would that fly for you if you talk out of pocket to an old head as a young bull?
As a young bull?
Yeah.
I never thought about doing that.
Because we got sense.
Yeah.
Our parents would have lit us up.
No, remember that scene from have you ever saw the movie Head of State with Chris Rock?
Yeah.
No, remember the campaign, remember the debate where Chris Rock was talking about knocking out your kids. He was like, listen, I was afraid to smoke, not because I was going to get cancer, because I was afraid my dad was going to come in and knock me out.
Yes. That's just, you don't do that. First off, it should have been, thank you, Mr. Newton. I appreciate you, Mr. Newton. But you a free agent. You
about to be poor.
Right. You about to be poor. He lucky it wasn't me, because I would have said something petty. I would have said something I'll buy your mom right now. That's what I would have said if I was something like Cam Newton. But Cam Newton's obviously a better man than I am. But
obviously.
Yeah, but I definitely would have been I'll buy your whole family right now. Shut up, you little bang baby. But that was just disrespectful, though.
Yeah, it was. It was disrespectful. And people want to throw the mantra, well, this guy's a kid. I'm like, listen, well, here's my thing. If you're gonna come at me like that, that kid label gets thrown out the window.
Yeah.
If you're gonna come at me like that, I'm coming at you as a man. Yeah. I'm not coming at you as a kid. But the other video showed, Cam Newton actually tried to. He wasn't trying to
was still trying to help the young boy out.
Yeah, he was just yo. He was like, yo, what do you do? He was like, yo, you gonna see? I'm like, what do you mean you gonna see? And I'm like, he's actually legitimately trying to help him, give him feedback. We're talking about Cam Newton, who's a multiple time Pro Bowler, former league MVP, and you got to remember, there's only for those kids, about one or two of them is actually going to make it into the NFL
if they're lucky.
Yeah.
I think what happens is sometimes people forget who guys were.
Yeah.
At Auburn, Cam Newton was a man amongst boys out there. People tend to forget Cam Newton really was running the league until injuries really started to happen to him. Legit. So that's the thing that even bothers me even more. And it's another reason why I want Cam Newton to come back even stronger and better for little young bulls like that who just running their mouth. And then the young bull had the audacity to go ahead and put a statement out on social media, apologizing, to Cam. Like, first of all, that's another thing too. Like, if I'm a young boy and I just like disrespected somebody on camera, you think I got my cell phone to even do that? I'm in trouble. I'm grounded. I got no phone. I'm not going out. I'm only going to school, and that's it. I'm going to school, and I'm going back to the room.
Yeah.
But this young boy had his phone.
Sure. I'm eating sleep for dinner.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? So it's crazy. It's crazy. Kids these days.
Yeah, man.
Disciplined. They ain't got it. I never thought I'd sound like one of these old heads, but boy, I see what the old heads would be talking about. Like when I was a young boy, back in my day, we was in by the time the light was on. Like, nah, not the street light. But now I feel like one of them old heads.
Back in my day, well, homie, this is my day.
Yeah, like,
oh man, God.
Yeah, that was definitely out of pocket.
Yeah, like I don't get why he tried to do that. Like, he had an opportunity
for clout.
Yeah, like trying
to go viral.
Yeah, for 5 seconds of fame. Like in the end, like scouts are gonna see that.
And and now he's already got a bad rap as a young boy. Good job. Yeah, good job, young boy.
Yeah, and then like you got, and not to mention, it's like it's not even that. It's like the guys on like Twitter is merciless. They don't care who you are.
No, they was already killing the young boy.
And it's like
that's how I found out all his information. Twitter would do the dirty work for you.
Yeah, no, and first of all, the kid's name is just Seth Owens.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, and somebody like, I think the worst thing that somebody on Twitter could pull on you is like this you. I think like that's the worst thing because like they pulled up his bio, and they were looking at his.
It was blank.
Yeah, it was. It was
like no rating, no nothing. I think that's the joint where it says Royersford.
Yeah,
I looked at it.
So it says it right there, undecided.
Yeah. It's like hold on, but this you though.
Yeah.
And then one of the young boys was like, yo, because Cam was like, what does he do? And one of the young boys was like, I mean, he fast. Like
no, and honestly, like I even went on his. I went on his profile and I looked at his junior highlights. I'm like, okay, all right, he's a safety. What does he do? And he did absolutely nothing. He made all his tackles were like down the field. And I'm like, there's nothing about his game that highlights any of that.
So you're saying he's going to Millersville?
All right, I don't wish that on anybody.
Are you saying he's going to Millersville?
No, don't be ridiculous.
I'm just playing.
Yeah, no, he's going to Cheney. But
oh.
Do they even have a football team anymore?
I don't know, bro. I'm not sure. I ain't mean to hurt nobody's feelings. We just know how tough the Millersville games were. I mean, I ain't play. I just remember being in the stands watching.
I called Millersville game for 3 to 4 years. I know how bad it.
Them Jones definitely got a little brutal.
I'm just like, oh, hold on. I gotta find some content.
All right, so now we're saying he's lucky if he goes to Millersville.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. Okay, young boy better come ready to play because now it unfortunately like it didn't go viral the way that he really wanted it to. Like now, everybody gonna be on you.
Yeah, but I don't know how he thought this was gonna go. Like you're disrespecting a former league MVP. You're disrespecting probably one of the most charitable guys in the league.
Yes, like he was there for a reason.
Yeah, and it's like, you got guys like Darius Slay calling him saying he's disrespectful. Cam Jordan. I'm like, listen, everybody's having Cam Newton's back. No one's coming to your defense.
Yep.
So when that happens, I'm like, yo, yeah, boy, you're on your own.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, for all we know, this kid can turn around and be a freaking 5-star recruit, but that stain is already going to be on his resume, and he's yet to even necessarily prove himself, and that's the worst part about it.
Yeah, well, the guy has no rating, so I doubt he's 5 stars.
Dang, I just said for all we know, he could. You never know. Young boy might turn around and get motivated from all this trash talk that he had.
Yeah, from Royersford.
Right, out there in King of Prussia area, but. Anywho, I mean, who am I to debate that?
I mean, listen, he'll be a great sales rep at Macy's, man.
chill.
I'm sorry, we're having a little too much fun here, man.
Listen, it's all good. Yeah. Let me ask you this. We touched on it a bit briefly about Russell Wilson. Do you think he's worth 3 first-round picks on the trade market?
No.
You gotta tell me why. Because I mean. That's the thing, man. I'm okay with gambling on a sure thing versus gambling on a mystery. Like I know Russell Wilson is a sure thing. These first round picks, if anything, if I'm good, they might be late picks, and I still get my guy. 3 first round picks, I'd do it. We talking Russell Wilson, I'd do it.
No, he'll be 33 in November.
All right, what are you saying?
Listen, here's my thing. Like. what's the scenario with my team if what team am I GMing right now? Am I GMing a team that's a borderline playoff team?
Let's say Dallas. If you're Dallas, because they do dumb stuff like that.
Dallas, no, I would honestly, if I'm Dallas, no, because offense is not your problem; it's defense. And when you trade away all those draft picks, you rarely have number one, you won't have the cap space to fix your defense free agency, nor you won't have the draft capital to try to fix your defense in the draft.
But
if it's a team like
just playing like devil's advocate, right? So say hypothetically, the trade goes down and they, ship Dakota, right? Russell Wilson comes back to Dallas, but he's still on his old contract. They're essentially saving a little bit of money because they was going to have to pay Dakota about 40+ mil a year, and Russ is still on his old contract. Just playing devil's advocate.
But I'm not a fan of trading all of those. Like Russell Wilson's a top 5 quarterback, but if I'm a GM, if I'm trading those draft picks, I'm trading for a top 5 player in the league. Like you're asking me Mahomes for 3 first-round picks, absolutely, no questions asked. A guy like Aaron Donald, who's the most dominant defensive player in the world, then absolutely I would do that.
Yeah.
Even a guy.
So Russell, you don't think Russell Wilson's a top 5 player
in the entire league? No.
Okay, that's definitely debatable.
Because I'd say
DeAndre Hopkins is definitely a top 5 player. It's debatable.
It's not like the NBA.
I know.
Yeah, where it's like, okay, if I'm trading these guys for I'm trading 3 first-round picks for a guy like Steph Curry or Kawhi Leonard, James Harden. Yeah, fine, you can have those picks.
Yeah.
Because in the NBA, one guy can make that difference between whether or not if you're a playoff team that's a first-round exit, or if I get this guy, I'm a finals contender.
Yeah.
Like in the NFL, there are way too many variables, and obviously quarterback's the biggest variable, but that's not enough. But I don't think Russell Wilson, for me, if I'm a team like Dallas, moves the needle enough. Yeah, I could win the NFC East easily with Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if God forbid, Dallas's offensive line falls apart again, he gets beaten down by Washington before the playoffs start, and then I got to go on the road and face a team like New Orleans in the Superdome or something like that. But trading 3 first-round picks in the NFL, that's way too much risky business. And for a guy that's going to be 33 in November, I would say no. I'm like Russell Wilson.
You better than me. I'd do it.
Yeah.
And like I said, the only reason I would do it is because I like the sure thing versus something I have no idea about. Like I don't care. Maybe this is why I shouldn't be a GM. But if it comes down to giving up picks and I'm getting something back that I know is already established,
but here's the thing.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. Like you would be a perfect general manager for a team that's gonna win now because you don't care. Because what Boston, let's say the Boston Celtics,
right?
You would be perfect right now because you wouldn't be hoarding all those draft picks assets like Danny Ainge until they go. Yeah, you would try to get an impact player right about now.
Yeah,
there are
them picks and Kemba Walker for Bradley Beal. I'd be on the phone right now.
Yeah, so my thing is that there's certain GMs are for certain situations. I'm a long-term thinker. Here's my plan. This is my plan. I was going to lay out. This is my 5-year plan. So you got to give me 5 years for me to see that plan through.
That's fair.
But there's also general managers here's the thing. So I'm trying to win now. Here's my plan for the next year or two. Mm-hmm. This is what I'm going to be doing. Yeah. And listen, all right, I'm going to trade this guy for this guy. I'm going to get this guy in free agency. I'm going to be talking to this guy to bring my coach. Yeah, there's different GMs for different perspectives. So It's you would do it because Russell Wilson is undoubtedly a top 5 quarterback.
He's a sure thing.
Yeah, he's a sure thing. But for me, age is a factor, and for me, it depends also what my team makeup is. If my team makeup is like the Dallas Cowboys, then I can't do that deal.
I feel like age with quarterbacks, it's not much of a factor anymore.
Yeah, it is, but it's
not much. We're not talking about a running back here. We're talking a quarterback.
Yeah, it's not, but we're also talking about a certain scenario. Like Russell Wilson's biggest gripe, I'm not sure if it's Russell Wilson himself or it's coming out of this quote-unquote camp. Camp meaning Sierra. But
happy wife, happy life. So
yeah, but it's he gets hit a lot. So My thing is that Dallas's offensive line got mangled by injuries. Their guys are getting old.
Yeah.
So how much draft capital and how much money am I going to have to, make sure to fix this offensive line before I make this deal? So that's why the Carson Wentz, the Indianapolis trade makes sense. They already have an offensive line in place to protect the guy that they're bringing in.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like that's the perfect landing spot for Carson Wentz.
So like if you're giving me a team like Miami, like if you're giving me 3 first-round picks for like Russell Wilson, like Miami had 3 rookies on the offensive line last year, so they're going to be, going into their second year more integrated into the system. I'm a little more confident in that because Dallas has more first-round picks at their disposal to give up.
Yeah.
So that's not going to hurt them. Not to mention they were 10-6 last year.
Yeah. So, well, if I'm Miami, I might flip it a little different. I might do Tua in 1 pick. That's what I might do. Just because Tua's not going to be my backup. I'm not going to do young boy like that.
Yeah.
So at least, hey, you guys will still get a young quarterback where you guys can kind of sort of rebuild, get back to where you guys were in your championship mode, where all you needed was a game managing type quarterback. Cool. There you go. We'll take Russ. You guys get this pick. We're off to go. I would do that if I'm them. But also another reason I feel that way, and this is why I was so adamant at the time, because I know it's about to be 6:00. I was so adamant about us trading Ben Simmons for James Harden, because what people don't fail to realize is players are not staying on the same team for 10 years. So when you have an opportunity to win a chip, you go ahead and take it. Of course, the trade happened. It's going, whatever. That was one of the reasons I was a big advocate. So now it's like dudes are now getting shamed for staying with a team that they know is bad. Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like, for being loyal, now they're getting shamed. But KD, peace, we about to get this chip. LeBron, LA, peace, we about to get this chip. Dame, Giannis, come on.
But also the Supermax is also ridiculous.
Yeah, it
cripples small markets.
Oh,
it's like, so it's like, sure, I get to keep this guy, but it's like, how much resources do I have left to build an adequate team around you? Like, my thing is, like, I respect Dame for his loyalty, but at the same time, I'm like, listen, you're not going anywhere with you're not going anywhere in Portland with this team is constructed.
And Giannis either, especially because if Giannis doesn't do anything to improve his game, if he don't freaking add a post move, I love his aggressiveness, but boy, he needs a post move.
Yeah, and it's like Chris Middleton isn't good enough to cover.
Been saying that.
Yeah, I like Chris Middleton as like a third option.
That's all he is.
Yeah. Like I love his game. I like playing with him on 2K.
He got a nice form on 2K. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, like I did like an expansion.
Get a lot of greens with him.
Yeah, I did like an expansion joint where it's like, all right, I put a team back in Seattle and I put a team like it's in Vancouver.
Yeah,
and like I had like a fantasy draft and like it was Joel Embiid because there was 32 teams now, so it's like talent's gonna be a lot more spread out. Zion went to Seattle, which was perfect because they needed that, young attraction. But I had Joel Embiid and like Chris Middleton. I'm like, cool, that's the perfect duo.
It's not bad.
Yeah. And like Malcolm Brogdon's my point guard. It surrounded everybody else with shooting.
Gotta have shooting, especially when you playing with the MVP.
Yeah,
Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
So we started off the show a little bit with Joel Embiid.
Yeah. So, and real quick, once again, you're listening to Run It Back Sports Show, Sports for the Culture, on 98.5 WJYN on UptownPhillyRadio.org. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in and to our YouTube feed as well. If you want to call in, give that call number.
That number is 215-763-9596.
All right. And we're going to dive right into the NBA. And
So, all right. So right now the Sixers, they've lost their last 3 out of 4. Like that West Coast trip wasn't what we expected. And then they lose that game Sunday night to Toronto. My only takeaways from that game is, all right, it was finally good to see Embiid and Simmons both aggressive. Unfortunately, Tobias did have a bit of an off night, which is fine, but he kept on shooting. I'm okay with that. My biggest concern now, because I've heard reports that Daryl Morey and Doc, like their goal is to only run 8 in the playoffs. So outside of Tobias, Embiid, and Simmons, I think we're in a little bit of trouble because we're technically starting 2 role players. Like Curry and Danny Green, they are role players at the end of the day. They might not be starting on a lot of other teams, but they work for us at the moment. Then Shake Milton is a bit of an uncertainty here and there. Like Shake hasn't, I know he just came back from injury, but Shake hasn't had a Shake game in a bit. Dwight Howard, if he can just stop being a freaking hack, he could probably help us out like tremendously. Doc doesn't really want to put Maxey on the floor because he's a rook. Isaiah Joe is now getting a little bit of run
because of Korkmaz.
Yeah, and that's about doggone time. You know how I feel about Korkmaz. He's a freaking bum.
It's time for Furkinator.
No, stop. I don't ever. No, stop. I don't want to hear. Don't want to hear that, yo. Cork is a bum. So, like, if we're going 8,
I'm mad I didn't patent that. I could have made some money.
So, if we're going 8 in the playoffs, we got 3 guys, bro. 3 guys. What are we gonna do?
All right. We're going to run our starting 5, obviously.
Of course.
Shake Milton, Dwight Howard, and then after that, everybody else can fight to the death for that last spot.
They going to have to do something, bro. But this is why I feel like we still got to make another move. The trade deadline is March.
We're going to make another move.
I think so, too. I think we are, too. I don't know who, but the trade deadline is March 25th. There's been rumors swirling around about Kyle Lowry. And I don't know how, like,
oh my god,
yeah, there's the rumors.
No, listen, if Kyle Lowry ever becomes a Sixer, I got to take back everything I've ever said about this man.
What would you say?
I hate Kyle Lowry.
Well, he's a local guy. He was great at Nova.
No, I just hate him. He and Marcus Smart in the same category where it's like when you're going up against them, they're annoying. Yeah, but like. Once you're like they're on your team, you love every little dirty thing that they do.
He would give me like annoying Chris Paul vibes. Yeah. But yeah, so rumors of Kyle Lowry possibly, being on our team. Oh, free. He would definitely love Kyle Lowry and Joel Embiid both been on the same team. Right. He would. Oh my gosh, he's creaming his pants right now.
Dude, pause, man.
I can say that. I can say that.
Even still then, man. Read the room, man.
I can say that.
I know you can.
Anywho. So, but I want a guy like Zach LaVine. Like, I feel like we still need ball handling and scoring. Like, I like Tobias he's been playing great. Ben Simmons for the month of February.
He's going to get snubbed as an all-star, isn't he?
And it's sad because it might be because of Ben.
Listen. I still feel like,
it might because of Ben.
Listen, here's my thing. Put Ben and Tobias in a room together. Let them fight to the death for that last All-Star spot.
Well, Ben's from Australia. He might put him in a chokehold.
All right, that's fine.
Tobias is too nice. He might be on his he might be on this peaceful Martin Luther King.
Listen, Friday Night Lights, J. Cole on this.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He might be very peaceful with that. But it's going to be interesting. But yeah, put it like this. Tobias is definitely going to get snubbed because Chris Middleton doesn't have a chance. Remember I did the comparison a couple weeks ago and their numbers are exactly the same.
Listen, all I'm saying is this. I feel like every year the All-Star ballot for like the bench, I'm like, all right, listen, everybody there's like a pool of 20 guys. 7 guys can only get the bench.
Yeah.
Everybody fight to the death.
Why not?
The 7 guys who leaves that room like make it like a steel cage match.
Put them in an elimination chamber.
No, like steel cage match. Like, listen, who first 7 escape the cage, they get the playoffs.
That's it.
They get the all-star spots.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
So all right. So how would you feel hypothetically if the Sixers bring in Kyle Lowry, and who are some of the parts that we got to move to make the money work in order to bring in like a Kyle Lowry or a Zach LaVine?
I think Zach LaVine's off the table.
I think he is too because they're like in the 8th seed. They're in the hunt. So yeah, they're like in the hunt. So I'm not 100% sure, but it one could dream, right? I feel like it's doable, but the way that Zach LaVine has been playing, I feel like his stock has risen so much where it's going to require more to get him. And at this point where we are in the season, I'm open to it. As much as I love Thibault and I love Maxey, it's winning time. And it's winning time because of Joel Embiid. Never in my wildest imagination did I think we would see Joel Embiid this healthy and playing. Like, never in my wildest imagination. So it's definitely winning time, and we definitely need a piece in order to ensure that the Philadelphia 76ers can get a championship guy like that. That's what we need, because the way Ben Simmons has been playing, He's 22.3 points per game in February. He's giving you about 8 assists per game in February. He's also giving you about 8.6 rebounds, and I'm putting emphasis on February because he's been playing absolutely outstanding. His free throw shooting, like, can you believe it? He's up to 74%. This is the type of Ben Simmons that I've been asking for since he's joined this team, just to be aggressive. He's still not shooting any jumpers, which I'm cool with, but just be aggressive and apply yourself to the team and be a threat. You know, I don't after the way he's been playing this month, and he just came back from the previous game. He sat 2 games, came back against Toronto, drops 28 points, still playing aggressive. I love the way he's getting his head together and being able to go out there and just contribute the way that we hope that he could for all this time. So it's like, please, like, just continue this. But also, with that being said, we will need somebody else with them, because with us going 8, I don't know. And, you know, maybe we can't get Zach LaVine. And at some point, if it has to be Kyle Lowry, I think, all right, we got to get rid of Danny Green. He's got to go. Even though I like Danny Green, I don't have no beef with
if you're
Danny
making
Green.
a deal for Kyle Lowry, so sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good, bro.
No, but if if you're making a deal for Kyle Lowry, then obviously Danny Green has to go because the salaries make sense.
Yeah, like, yeah, it has to. Another salary dump would be Mike Scott. I know he's a fan favorite, but he doesn't. I
think we have a caller. 98.5 WJYN.
This is Big Rudy. I'm here to talk basketball.
Oh man, look, hey Marcus, your best friend.
I know, Big Rudy. What's up?
I was summoned. I heard y'all was talking about cake and the possibility of supplying more cake to Philadelphia. I think Kyle Lowry would be excellent here in Philly. Local cat, seen him ball. We've seen him win a championship. We've seen him take charges in the All-Star game. What more do we need? He moves the ball well. He can hit down the three-pointer. He's clutch. I don't care what anybody says. He's clutch. I think he's everything we're missing right now. He would fit in perfectly here. The only problem is the money.
Nah, I don't think money's the problem. We can make it happen, especially with him having an inspiring contract. Yeah. So he has an inspiring contract, so it could work. The question is Toronto willing to give him to someone in their division, even though they're still in the hunt? But the other question is, like, is Toronto really winning the NBA championship? You might as well get started on this, retooling now.
No, here's the thing. Toronto had a lot of problems. I would put them in the same boat as the Pacers. A lot of injuries that have stopped them from having a consistent starting five. Same thing with Boston as well, even though I think Boston has more issues. Toronto really seems like they're going to get it going from here on out. We saw what they just did to us, and they might do it again tonight. Who knows? I think they would probably be best to, keep all their cards, but I would really love to have Kyle Lowry here because he's exactly what this team needs right now. We need that shot in the arm. Somebody who just brings a little life. I like what Dwight Howard tries to do, bringing life to this team, but the stupid fouls, I mean, they were happening in LA. They're carrying over now. This is just who he is now. And we shouldn't be surprised.
Okay. So obviously we remove Danny Green because he's the closest that in terms of salary wise. Mike Scott makes about $5 million. And then, what's the trade exception that we have? Is it $8 or $9 million?
I think it's 8. I think it's 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's about $28 million. So we got to give a few other throwaways. And probably some picks also. And Kyle Lowry is also on the last year of his deal as well.
Yep.
So maybe,
and I'm okay with that because Danny Green is as well. And if I had to pick somebody who has more upside to do something with what's left of their career, I'm going to go with Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
Even though it's a shooter's league and all, Kyle still has it, I think.
Yeah. And also, I think that also takes care of another issue that the Philadelphia 76ers have. When Ben Simmons is on the bench, you have somebody who can, still initiate the offense.
Yeah, there's nobody who can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely need another ball handler, something it's just really needed for the Sixers. Badly.
I honestly have a problem with Ben Simmons sometimes handling the ball in the half-court sets. Now, in transition, there's nobody better. And half-court sets, I think he's okay. but because, and I really hate bringing it up all the time, but because of the lack of a jump shot, there's certain sets that we can't really run with him. But he's made the best of that so far. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but he's one of the best off-ball screeners in the league.
Hold on, Free, real quick. Just because I want to kind of piggyback off what you're saying, and I agree. Would you look at Ben like this? I say he's a playmaker, not a point guard.
Yeah, that's really been the case. That's what separated a lot of guys, a lot of those bigger, wings from LeBron. LeBron can also be your point guard.
Yeah.
He can be a playmaker if you need him to be, but you can also run him as your point guard. We've done it with Ben. There's mixed, mixed feelings about it. In transition, there's nothing bad I can say about him. Kyle Lowry in half-court sets initiating the offense, I think would be way better than anything we've seen in quite a minute. Maybe since Andre Miller, to be honest.
That's actually, I like Andre Miller.
I don't know how. I don't know if we make this move. I trust Daryl Morey to do something.
Yeah. So, but honestly, it's either Kyle Lowry, George Hill, or like DeLon Wright as like potential like point guards that are probably going to be targeted.
But is that winning us a chip? If anything, I'm taking Kyle Lowry over any of those guys.
Yeah, like I think all of us would agree that we take Kyle Lowry over all of that, but like what's the incentive of for Toronto, who's still fighting for a playoff spot, to trade for us?
That's true. That is very true. I mean, hey, you're already paying Fred VanVleet. I can never say his name as of late.
Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, I'm gonna just call him Fred right now. They're already paying Fred $85 million over the next 4 to 5 years, and you can already see that he's almost Kyle Lowry 2.0, just fitting right in for that team. So it's like, if you're going to pay that guy that money, you might as well. But once again, like I said, who's Toronto beating in a 7-game series? Are they going to the NBA Finals? I don't see it happening. Brooklyn's got way too much firepower. Philadelphia, Embiid just cannot be stopped. It's really, for the Eastern Conference, it's a 2-team race in my opinion. It's between Philadelphia and Brooklyn. That's it. Like, Milwaukee's done. They can't even do anything without Drew Holiday. Like, who would have thought? Like, Drew Holiday is the difference maker for them.
They traded they traded all their assets to get Drew Holiday.
Yeah, and they lost 5 in a row, and Giannis played each and every one of those games. So Miami, 14-17? They're an afterthought. And I told y'all Miami was going to be corny coming into the season. And look at them. Like, there's a lot of uncertainties right now.
That's been banged up a lot. They played all the way into the finals. Got to give them some, because we're seeing the same thing with the Lakers as well. Teams that went really deep, they're kicking it in the gear, but it's taking a minute. And that's fair. They had a month and a half, 2 months off. Jimmy Butler's finally back. And the problem with the Heat, this is a shooters league. They were the number 1 shooting team last year. I believe they're 14th right now. If your whole offense is based off of shooting three-pointers well, and you're middle of the pack and doing it, you're not going to have a good record. That's your whole plan of attack right there.
You got to think, so Tyler Herro's missed games, Bam Adebayo's missed games, Jimmy Butler's missed games. The only guy that's played every single game so far has been Duncan Robinson.
Yeah.
And he's been a little streaky sometimes.
Yeah.
But that when your whole plan of attack is shooting threes, he does nothing else. I mean, he does his best on defense, but that's nothing to write home about. Bam Adebayo's still been an all-star in my opinion. Jimmy Butler, when he's actually on the court, he's getting triple-doubles out there. If the team can stay healthy and get in their groove, with Eric Spoelstra, I really assume that's going to happen. This could be another team that I can make some money off in the playoffs because people are going to write them off again. But who knows?
Yeah. All right.
I just think the All-Star break is going to be – it would have been perfect for these guys if they would have got the 10 days off that they were told beforehand. Now I'm really interested to see what teams like the Pacers, Celtics, Heat, Lakers, what these teams do that have just been beat up this whole time. Raptors as well, but they're trending upward in my opinion.
Yeah. So Free, real quick, obviously because you're a Timberwolves fan, but I gotta ask about the firing of their coach Flip Saunders.
Quick detour with Minnesota, real quick. I'm writing down like my notes for my next podcast episode, and I got detailed notes for every team. I just want to go over everything that they've done. And I get to Minnesota, and in just all caps, I just wrote rant. I don't need notes for that. Nothing
all started with Zach LaVine.
Well. We got a new coach. I don't even care to learn his name. There's nothing other than Anthony Edwards dunking on whoever that man was in Toronto. That's the only thing that makes me feel good. I've watched it at least 80 times. I haven't seen anything positive. Cat is either hurt or D'Angelo Russell is hurt. We never get to see those two together. I'm pretty sure I'm having a fever dream and we don't have either one of them, actually. It's just, and then I got to watch LaMelo Ball just clearly be rookie of the year. And Anthony Edwards is just like, yeah, but did you see that dunk? I'm like, yeah, it was cool, man. But do you see LaMelo? We could have had that. And we didn't. I like Roses as our GM. He made the safe decision.
Looking over another black man, I'm good off that, man. Another black man was looked over, and they just bring. Come on, we need more. Come on now.
I don't care. I don't care who our coach is. This team is cursed. We need to sell the team. The fact that Kevin Garnett's jersey hangs in the Garden for Boston and it doesn't hang in the Target Center makes no sense.
Oh, that's insane. I did not know that.
Goes up.
I did not know that.
So that jersey
insane.
goes up. We are cursed. That's just how it is. We have to do right by Kevin Garnett. Glenn Taylor needs to sell the team. Okay, we got a new coach. You know, he worked for Nick Nurse. Big fan of him. He's my favorite coach in the league. Hopefully he can bring over some of that magic. It'd be great. We got a pretty good GM. We have talent. We're just cursed. Nothing we do matters until we lift the curse.
Yeah.
People will tell me why my team sucks, and I'm like, no, you're wrong. The basketball guys hate us. That's what it is.
Free, before we get you up out of here, I want to ask your take on this that we're going to talk about in a little bit. So, you know, Meek Mill has been under a lot of fire recently about his Kobe lyric in one of his last tracks. What's your take on that?
Meek Mill's a clown. Like, I don't care what he does. He's arguing with 6ix9ine in garages while they both have feds with them. Like, they're acting like, first of all, I've seen high school girls who don't do as much talking as Meek Mill does when he sees 6ix9ine. Like, just fight. Like, he's a chump. He's been that way for a minute. I'm not surprised he said anything stupid in a rap song. That's what he does. He lies and says stupid stuff all the time. He said, ain't a neighborhood in Philly that I can't go. I can name several that you can't go to, bro. Like, you're capping all the time. But, yeah, clowns do clown things. Like, why are we surprised?
All right.
I guess that was harsh and bleak, but yeah, it's true.
No, man, listen.
Said what you said.
Yeah, listen, man, we appreciate the authenticity of your words.
Thank you.
Stay woke, my brother.
I mean, I'm probably about to take a nap, but yeah. Take it easy, y'all.
All right, man, peace. Thanks. Appreciate you.
And once again, listening to Uptown Radio WJYN 98.5 Sports for the Culture.
Number 215-763-9596 to join the conversation.
Oh, I think we have another caller. 98.5 WJYN. Who's calling?
Cue my theme music, boy.
All righty.
There it is. Get it popping.
I'm waiting.
What's going on, Dad?
And once again, you out the way. You ain't got my theme music ready.
What's up, Mr. Norris?
How's my favorite radio station doing tonight?
Oh man, your favorite, man. Oh man, listen, it's about time we climbed the charts.
That's what I'm talking about. We're gonna get you a shirt, Mr. Norris. We're gonna get you another shirt.
I'm still waiting for my Millersville football jersey for my son, who graduated some years ago. We ain't gonna talk about that.
I don't think you want one of those.
Yeah, well, I wanted one. You should have got me one, but we ain't gonna talk about that. It's the principality of the whole situation.
Oh,
okay, but anyway. I heard you guys were talking about, like, what did that Meek Mill say about Kobe?
So, in one of his recent lines, he said something like, "If I'm going down with like my chopper, I'll have you go out like Kobe," or something like, "I don't want to go out like Kobe going down with my chopper," something like that along those lines. But he was like referring to Chopper as like a gun.
Okay, and what exactly has Meek Mill done to enrich things in the black community in Philadelphia?
I mean, apparently he does a lot for the African American community. I don't have it in front of me.
All right, here's a line. If I ever lack, I'm going out with my chopper. It'll be another Kobe.
Yeah, no. Look, if he does, I'll put it to you guys like this before we go to sports topic. If you're gonna call yourself a leader of the community and everything, do things in the community, just do it. You don't have to put yourself out there. Keep on trying to put yourself on blast. Because when people that do things for people selflessly, they get more ink, they get more props than people that want to brag about it all the time. Okay, and the whole thing with Meek Mill is, your other call said it best. I think he's a clown. That whole thing a couple of years ago, where as soon as he got out of jail, he got a haircut and he rang the bell for 6 years old home opening and everything. I thought it was completely idiotic. Okay, and a waste of time. And he's fighting charges where there are a lot of brothers in the system right now that have a whole lot worse than he does. And I felt as though, he's saying he was speaking up for the brothers and everything. He's speaking up for himself. Okay? Don't just be out there giving out things and doing things and the camera's on you. The real heroes are the ones that do when the camera's turned off, nobody's watching. So that's all I got to say about that.
And apparently, Meek Mills actually did apologize to Vanessa in private. So,
yeah, whatever the case may be. Anyway,
this will be a non-topic in a few days anyway.
So, are you guys going to be cheering for him, or are you going to be rooting against him? I got to know.
Honestly, I wish him the best, but if he's playing against us, I want him to get killed. Do your thing out there. You're in a different conference and everything different. But if he's playing against the Midnight Green, kill that man.
Yeah.
No, without question. And me personally, like I said before, there's a lot of fault all around between Carson, Eagles management, and everything. But me personally, I hope he goes to Indianapolis and kills and just shows what an idiot Howie is.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, because no matter, we got 9 draft picks that's up for the draft today. They say it don't make a difference. Howie's the one doing the picking, so we're screwed anyway.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah,
but you know what, Mr. Norris, it would hurt a lot more just knowing that. Wow, we really let go of Carson Wentz, and he's playing amazing because of this fool Howie Roseman. I think that would really grind me up even more.
Yeah, well, Howie is Jeffrey Lurie's boy, so they ain't changing no time soon. They think they're smarter than everybody else, so we'll see what happens in the draft. Because, like I said, that 6th pick, it would not surprise me if Howie took a punter.
Nope, would not shock me at all.
Or if he took a kicker, or
he take a fullback. He take a fullback.
No. He takes a long snap from Alcorn State. How about that? And what about the 6th? Do you think they need to make a big deal to get over the top or what?
Yeah, they absolutely need to. We were talking about it earlier about a potential move for Kyle Lowry, and I feel like that's the move that that this team needs to do in order for them to be be well in depth in order to go to the playoffs, because because Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers are talking about going 8 deep in the playoffs. So a guy like Kyle Lowry, who's not only a significant, some proficient ball handler in half court sets, plenty of playoff experience, NBA Finals experience, and more importantly, you can put Ben Simmons on the bench and Kyle Lowry can still run the offense without worrying about, all right, who's the guy that's going to be able to make an entry pass, as opposed to what happened last year.
Yeah, very true, very true. What do you think about a guy like Zach LaVine?
I like Zach LaVine a lot more than Kyle Lowry. Number one, he's a little bit more cheaper, but I think his price has gone up so much. I think he's number 5 or 6 in points per game. I really enjoy him a lot. I think he
is top 5 in scoring now.
Yeah, he'd be a perfect fit for us, especially the way that Joel Embiid detects the double team, and Zach LaVine has no problem throwing it up whatsoever. We'll sacrifice a little bit on the perimeter side, like as far as defense, but we'll get, a little bit of that stuff that we were longing for. You get yourself an isolation guy who can get buckets. He's very athletic and can make moves in the open court. I think Zach LaVine would be a perfect fit alongside of, Joel, Tobias, and Ben. The question is, who do we give up in order to get a guy like Zach LaVine? And for me, I'm open for it.
They were talking about like Tyrese Maxey, number 1 draft picks and a second round pick.
Okay, well, I'm doing it. What's and another reason I'm doing it, because don't get me wrong, I like Tyrese Maxey. I've been on record saying I like him, but Doc don't even like to play rookies. And the way that Joel Embiid is playing right now, it is winning time. I came into the show saying it is winning time. I never expected Joel Embiid to ever play at this level. This is the time that gives me hope, and I think that we can mess around and do something crazy. We just need one more piece.
That's true. And I gotta admit, Joel's he came in shape. Doc lit a fire under his, like, you know what? And he's balling out. Okay. Hopefully it'll last. Okay. But some people get ahead of themselves and everything, saying he's the best center in Sixers history.
Oh no. Not yet. Not yet. If he gets like a couple of championships and some MVPs, then we're talking. But not yet.
Because somebody even said he's better than Allen Iverson as the top 6,000. I say you lost your rap, your rabbit, what mine, man.
Oh, of course.
AI, like I said, I do AI. I do AI personally, and I didn't care for his attitude outside the court, but he left it on the court every night. Okay, 6 foot nothing, $175, $180, and everything. He stick it to the hole every night, and not afraid to take that big shot.
But you know what? One thing I was going to say, one thing about Embiid that I do appreciate that I can relate to Iverson. I have not missed a game this season. I have not missed not one Sixers game because I know I got a guy who's going to give it every single night. Like, Embiid has been giving me those type of vibes all season. He's definitely an MVP.
Except when he's going up against top center, all of a sudden he's taking a night off for a little management. we ain't going to talk about that now is the game against Rudy Gobert and the Utah Jazz now, aren't we?
Yeah, but he would have killed Rudy Gobert. You know that.
I mean, Ben Simmons killed him.
Hey, look, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Bottom line is he ain't play.
Yeah.
Okay.
He turned around and killed DeMarcus Cousins.
DeMarcus Cousins, excuse me, but did he not like blow out 2 Achilles? Okay?
That is true.
Boogie Cousins ain't the same player he was like say 5-6 years ago. Because 5-6 years ago, Boogie would have killed Joel.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And right now, Boogie is a free agent looking for a place to latch on. All right. And and like I said, DeMarcus Cousins, Boogie Cousins, 5-6 years ago with everything, he was a beast. Okay, so say Joel would be like killing his Boogie Cousins and everything, and saying that Rottweiler beat the pool.
Wow.
Okay, so you need a different comparison there, kid. Okay. Well, look, I'm personally, I hope their run is like, hopefully a final appearance and everything. They just need another, they need another starter, and they need some bench help because Cork Mines, Milton, and what's got Pell ain't doing it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So listen, either way, Daryl Morley, I'm pretty sure he'll figure out a way to, solidify the bench for the playoffs going forward.
Got to.
Well, hopefully, really right about now, the Sixers and the Flyers are the only thing we got going to look forward to and everything because the Eagles, because I'll say it, like I said before, I say it again, we're going to be in purgatory for the next 10 years at this Super Bowl.
It's going to be bad.
And one sportscaster had the nerve to say, "Oh, I'll trade that Super Bowl to have Andy Reid back." I said, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, that's just absolutely idiotic.
I'll get on that.
It's idiotic. That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah,
no. But that was before Tom Brady and the Buccaneers took him out to the woodshed. Okay. So I think he has a different take on that right now. So, but we'll see. Like I said, I wouldn't trade that Super Bowl for anything because it might be the only Super Bowl I'll see in my lifetime. So I got that to take with me to my grave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, eventually, if I ever had kids down the road, I can talk about, listen, let me tell you about that Super Bowl run.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'll tell my grandkids about it one day.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, Dad, thanks for calling in again. You got the number.
Next time I have my theme music queued up again, okay?
I always do.
Appreciate you, Mr. Norris.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, peace. And once again, you're listening to 98.5 WJYA and Uptown Radio, Sports for the Culture. Chris Thomas, Mark Townsend. Man, it's already past 6:30.
Yo, we be flying through, bro.
Yeah, we absolutely do, man.
We be flying through. Big shouts out to our girl Carm, First Lady of Running Back Sports. She wasn't able to make it in this week. We got her. When she come back, it's gonna be popping.
Yeah, I know. And
hopefully Ben's still playing good when she comes back.
Honestly, I do kind of find that real circumstantial. She's not here, Ben Simmons is going on the tear.
No,
it's not the same.
It's really not.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be the one to give Ben the glory. It don't even feel the right. Like people, it's crazy because like as much trash as I talked on Ben, but everyone, like if people close to me know, like I was only doing it because of what we could have got back in return. I never hated Ben, but I'm not supposed to be the one out here giving Ben Simmons the praise. It's supposed to be Karm. So he better still be playing good when she come back. I'm gonna be hot.
Yeah, man. Listen,
it's gonna be March by the time she comes back because we're gonna be no, next week is March, right?
Yeah.
Wow, where did February go?
I don't know. You got me.
This is crazy,
yeah, but
bro.
we're just gonna tell our listeners right now. Unfortunately, we're not gonna be having a show next week. We will be back, however, on March 9th. And guess what? We're gonna have our big free NFL free agent edition of Running Back Sports Show. I'm so excited.
Who we having on? Who's coming in?
Man, of course we're gonna have our boy the one and only
back. Okay, my boy Juanito.
Yeah, man, and who knows? Maybe gonna try to pull some strings. Maybe get our boy Avery back on also.
Okay.
Yeah, listen, man, we're gonna have that panel. Don't worry, man. Listen, you guys can sit back, have a few waters, and watch break down.
I'm gonna be popping champagne.
Yeah, man. Listen, just watch the art of NFL free agency.
First off, the art of NFL free agency is nothing remotely close to the NFL free agency, but I get it.
Oh yeah, sure.
I get your excitement.
Oh yeah, sure. Like because it's really exciting watching Evan Turner get like that 4-year, $72 million deal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just like it's really exciting watching Carson Wentz get $135 million over 5 years, whatever.
But he got traded to the Colts.
And now look at us taking the cap hit because of freaking Howie.
Oh yeah, listen, man. Listen, I'm telling you, next month it's probably gonna be popping off, man.
Oh
you might see Deshaun Watson get traded.
Ugh.
Who knows? Maybe.
First off, Deshaun Watson's not going nowhere because he's a black man who requested a trade. Black men in the NFL do not exactly get what they ask for.
I'm just saying, maybe who knows?
It's first off, it's still Black History Month, so I'm just gonna let it be known, my brother.
Listen, relax. I will walk you through NFL free agency. I am your Morpheus.
Appreciate it, my
Listen,
brother.
Man, you could take either the red pill or the blue pill, man.
I just know that they need to stop trying to do the other man how they treat the brother man, because the brother man needs his opportunities as well, my brother.
Yeah, listen. And speaking of the brother man, listen, man. Shout outs to my boy Bobby Lashley, the almighty Bobby Lashley.
Big time.
My man got a WWE title match next week against The Miz. That feels weird.
Yeah. It only took like how many years? It's been a long time. This is like, does ECW championship count as a?
I don't count that crap.
When The Miz said that, like trying to vouch for John Morrison in like the pre-show to get him in the what's it called? He's like, oh, he was an ECW champion. I'm like,
No, listen. I remember the last time he got a WWE title match, Great American Bash 2007 against John Cena. This was the peak of when I was a John Cena stan.
Okay.
And
he was in the C Nation?
Yeah, no, I was part of the No, it wasn't the C Nation back then. It was Chain Gang.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was still Chain Gang.
Chain Gang.
Because you said 07, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was still the Chain Gang. That's right.
Get it right.
That's when I still kind of like Cena, too.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm like, oh, man. Like, listen, I hated that match because I'm like, listen, Cena's my boy. But at the same time,
Lashley's a brother.
I was like, yo, Bobby Lashley needs this title. I already know that Cena can lose the title and get that back without no problem. Bobby Lashley, man, listen, man, this is it.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm so glad because, and also, man, we got to give a good shout out to MVP, man.
Yes, Montavious Porter.
Yes, because
he just revived the career of 3 black men, my brother.
Listen, he's been doing the yeoman's work, and I think if Bobby Lashley wins the WWE title, we need to have that discussion about him being in that stratosphere in terms of managers, along with like Paul Heyman, Bobby the Brain Heenan. Because think about it,
and this is like MVP's first time doing it.
Yeah, and it's like,
he's the mouthpiece, though. You always need a mouthpiece.
Yeah, so it's like it's not even just the Hurt Business. Like Bobby Lashley, obviously, is now main eventer. It's already been reported that it's probably going to be Lashley versus Drew at Mania.
I've heard more. There's a lot of. I think there's a big swerve coming. They might be leaning towards Bobby versus Brock. That would be crazy.
All right, I think we got another caller.
Go for it.
WJYN 98.5 Running Back Sports Show. The almighty.
Yo, Chris.
Yo, what's up? Yo, what's going on, Warren?
Man.
What up, Warren?
What's up? I wanted to start off by saying congratulations to you guys for having 2 All-Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Simmons, they just released the sources for the reserves. Ben and Joel made it. My boy Levine made it, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Levine, first time All-Star, man.
Levine made it. Jaylen Brown made it. Jason Tatum, Julius Randle. Shouts out to him and Nick.
I
called it too. I was with it on Julius Randle. But I was also with it on Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
I called that one.
Sabonis in there?
Sabonis did not get in there.
No, he didn't make it.
Oh.
It was Nikola Vukic. I can't say his last name.
Vucevic made it?
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, he made it over Sabonis.
God.
He made it over Bam. I'm surprised.
What?
That ain't a shock.
What is wrong with him? Oh my God.
That ain't a shock. But you know my guy James Harden.
All right, so hold on. All right, Shams got the list. All right, Chris Paul, Paul George, Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Zion Williamson, Anthony Davis.
I wasn't expecting Anthony Davis.
I wasn't expecting that either.
I was
because of his injuries.
Report.
But I mean,
even listen, AD can even still then even if AD don't play, there's probably a replacement probably already.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's going on, Warren? What's on your mind?
Oh man, a couple. Like I said, shout outs to y'all. We all have all stars on this phone.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys feel about Carson Wentz being gone, officially?
Listen, I said it earlier on the top of the show. It's nothing to celebrate over. It's not because I don't believe in Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a good guy, good hardworking kid. We seen it in Alabama. We saw it in Oklahoma when that 1 year with Lincoln Riley, he became a Heisman finalist. Even this year, even this past year, there's no quit in him. He's going to be working hard every day to to improve his game. But this is just a failure in terms of the Eagles because you had this guy for 5 years and you poorly supported him every single way. I mean, granted, Carson isn't without fault. He's not. His play, I mean, his quote unquote reported attitude. We don't know the story about his attitude. I'm gonna until Carson actually opens up his mouth and actually says something. But then again, he's not obligated to really speak on that. But overall, just the poor drafting, the lack of of a consistent offensive line because of the injuries, the lack of weapons surrounding him because you're asking this guy to try to make guys like Greg Ward, Robert Davis, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Travis Fulgham, better than what they are because you can't because you can't hit on a wide receiver properly in drafts or in free agency, or you're holding on to veteran guys for too long like Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson. But in the end, we kept the worst guy out of the three. A lot of this is not Carson Wentz's fault, but in the end, Carson Wentz was the worst quarterback in the league. A lot of it wasn't his fault, but in the end, it is. But in the end, you can control what you can control, and the parts where he couldn't control, and the parts where he can't control, he didn't do his part. So I wish him all the best luck in Indianapolis. But yeah, in the end, it wasn't Carson Wentz's fault.
I feel that. I feel like he had the chance to redeem himself in Indiana. He's got weapons, good defense, a system that he's familiar with. So I too am hoping for the best. I hope Bobby Lashley kicks the Miz, next week. I don't need to see the Miz be champion longer than what he was. I was actually surprised he didn't win last night, but I love how they made Bobby Lashley look very strong. I shout out to MVP. He's a great mouthpiece for Bobby Lashley. Because, Bobby Lashley's always had the tools. He's had the look. He's had the ability. He just needs somebody to talk for him. And then him wearing that suit, he just looks legit. And you can have a Drew Bobby match. You can have a Bobby against Brock match, which is something Bobby's been clamoring for. You can have these kind of matches. I don't think Miz is somebody you should build a WrestleMania main event around.
Oh, come on now. Miz one of the top heels in the game, though. Give him some credit.
Oh, he is. He's WWE Hall of Famer. He's a 2-time Grand Slam champion. He's had a lot of credentials and accomplishments. I'm not taking that away from him. But if I'm talking about credibility and I'm talking about who I want to be my world champion, I would prefer somebody like Bobby Lashley. I mean, I know you guys kind of ride on AEW, but I like AEW simply because they have dominant champions. Chris Jericho's a dominant champion. Moxley was a dominant champion. Omega's a dominant champion. WWE doesn't necessarily have that. The last dominant champion they've had, besides Roman and AJ Styles, they don't really have too many dominant champions.
I mean, so Drew kind of was a dominant champion.
To have that would be a change of pace. And, there's really not really a top main event you have right now. Raw is terrible for world titles. You saw the start comparison in the Elimination Chamber matches. The SmackDown match was way better than the Raw match to me, but
well, you also got to think the SmackDown one where it's the those guys were competing for an opportunity. So it's like those 6 guys is like there were 6 outside of really Daniel Bryan. It's like all these other guys rarely have opportunities to really compete for the WWE title. Meanwhile, for the Raw main event, we all know that a title change wasn't really going to happen inside the Elimination Chamber this close to WrestleMania. So it's like we kind of already knew what the results was. You can't put the belt back on Randy Orton because Orton's feuding with The Fiend. Nobody wants to see Jeff Hardy as the WWE champion.
I am good. If I see that old behind Whisper in the Wind, I am good, yo. I'm so done off Jeff Hardy. Yeah. Love him, wish him the best, but yo, I'm good,
honestly,
bro.
Really the only person who probably made any sense to probably get the title in the Elimination Chamber is probably Sheamus. But
I don't even like that move though.
Yeah. But even still, then we all knew Drew was going to win it, so that's kind of also plays a factor on why people weren't really vested interest in that Raw Elimination Chamber.
One thing I will add though, with the Miz now being champion and the belt off of Drew McIntyre and the rumors of a Brock Lesnar possible return, you don't know what's going to happen now, and that's what I like. I like for it when it's unpredictable versus off. Like I know Roman and Edge are going to fight. Like I've always known that. But now with the Miz just now winning, you don't know. Next week they have their one-on-one match. Well, you know Drew got to get his revenge. He might come back, mess around, get a DQ. Now you got a triple threat at Fastlane. Boom. Something happens at Fastlane. Miz mess around, retains. Brock Lesnar's mad. I'm sorry, Bobby Lashley's mad, wrecking him. Next thing you know, Brock Lesnar comes out. Now you got Drew versus the Miz, and then maybe Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar, and then Drew will finally get that pop, winning the WWE Championship that he deserved last year at WrestleMania.
I think it's going to probably be Drew and Sheamus at Mania. I think they're just going to do that match. They're going to probably build it. How telling is it for Drew that Edge didn't even really consider him? Like, how telling is that for, like, the show, the title as a whole? To, like, you know, they didn't even really do a tease. He teased more Finn Balor than Drew McIntyre. I thought that was very sad, like hilariously sad. And I would be gobsmacked if they pulled a swerve and had Bianca go after Asuka as opposed to
that would be trash.
Yeah,
that would be absolutely horrible.
Yeah, and that's somebody else that's been pushed to mediocrity. Asuka was the most dominant, feared wrestler in the game. Longest NXT title reign ever. And now you don't even see her. And she's taking pins to Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Like, Raw is a travesty, and I don't know why.
Well, at least Asuka's champion, and everybody wanted a long reign from Asuka.
Yeah, but at what cost? Her last singles match was Selena Vega, who doesn't even work in the company anymore.
You mean last title match?
Yeah.
Oh, man. But I don't know, man. But yeah, listen, Bianca and Sasha has to be the match. Listen, as good as Asuka is somebody that has to compete with somebody who's on the same level as her. So it's like she has to go up against somebody like Becky Lynch. She has to go against somebody like Charlotte. Meanwhile, Sasha, you could put her in a program with essentially anybody, and Sasha's gonna make sure that they come out looking like $1 million. Like I remember, like they had like a big like 10-man tag match where it's like when the women of SmackDown versus like a few women from NXT, and like Sasha was in the ring for like Rhea Ripley for 2 minutes, and everybody was like, "Yo, I need this match like right now." And
right?
Yeah. So it's like, and it's like Sasha's the star of that division, so it makes sense where it's like if you're trying to build up Bianca Belair as the next star, you put her in a match with one of the four horsewomen who is more than likely going to make you look like $1 million
for sure.
Yeah, Bayley already did her part. She already planted the seeds, getting her ready and everything. Then Bianca had the Royal Rumble performance, and now Sasha's going to finish it.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how it goes. I mean, I love. For me, this is tough. Sasha's always been my first love. Now we got Bianca Belair. I love her too. I'm always going to rock with the black women on there, but Sasha is just so small, and I really feel like Bianca could just break her in half.
Yeah.
Like I need dirty heel Sasha Banks like now, so I can even like think that it's going to be like at least like a competition. Because right now Sasha's way too soft. I'm not digging it. I need her to backstab her fast so we can get something popping. Like I need it to happen like ASAP. So I can believe it. Because Bianca will break that girl in half. Yeah. It will not be good.
I agree.
Yeah, man. Oh, by the way, Warren, is there anything else you want to say before we have to let you go?
I want to say that if you're going to give us a good Raw title match, Rhea Ripley.
Oh, yeah, she's coming. She's coming.
Give us just have her attack her after Fastlane. Be like, I want to get the match I didn't get last year with the crowd and stuff. You can have a simple feud, give Asuka something to do, and when you take the title off of Asuka, it's with somebody that you can build the company around, like a Bianca Belair. I personally feel like everybody should be champions. Like Bianca should win. All the Edge should lose. I just think you should build a new breed. That's what you should do.
Yeah. And I kind of feel like that's going to happen. I feel like, Bianca's going to win. I don't know what they're going to do with Raw, but that's always the wild card. But I know Roman's going to win. They're not going to drop that belt off.
No, maybe SummerSlam.
Yeah, they waited way too long for Roman to get to get everybody this much vested interest for them to, take the belt off, for Edge to take the belt off him.
Yeah.
But anyway, Warren, we appreciate you calling.
Yes, Warren. 2 weeks in a row with the WWE insight. I was not expecting that. Keep it up.
Yeah, man.
Oh man, I'm a big wrestling fan. That's one thing about me.
My guy.
Yeah, man. Listen, 3 weeks ago you're shooting a shot with Karn. Now all of a sudden he's back here with the wrestling talk, man.
Oh, don't worry. When she returns, I'll make my presence known.
All right, man.
Appreciate you, Warren.
No problem. Y'all be smooth.
You too.
Oh man. Shouts out to Warren.
Yeah, man. That's the guy.
Big shouts out.
Yeah. Once again, you listen to 98.5 WJYN, Running Back Sports Show, Sports for the Culture. We got about less than 10 minutes here. So let's finish this out strong, man.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give my take. I'm gonna go back a little bit on the whole Meek Mill situation.
Okay, sure.
It's like, for me, it's like 50-50. Because it's like, as long as I've been listening to rap, they always have their moments when they're dissing the dead. And I'm not saying it's acceptable, but they have their moments. Like, I think who said beat the call me Emmett Till? Who said that? Was that Lil Wayne?
Yeah, that was Lil Wayne.
Yeah, Lil Wayne had his moment, and like, all right, do I agree? No. Does it happen? Yeah. Is it a sensitive subject? Absolutely. I feel like the way that the world mourned when Kobe lost, when we lost Kobe, that one for me might be a little bit. That's something you can't necessarily touch.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion. Like when we lost Kobe, like that wasn't normal. Like I felt like
that wasn't like natural causes.
Yeah, like that wasn't normal. I feel like the legit entire world stopped. 2020 became a complete mess. So that would be one I'd stay away from if I'm an artist. I mean, me personally, I would never, essentially make a rap line about someone who is deceased. But Kobe, man, the world literally stopped the day that man passed away. Yeah. And it's not because it wasn't just like Kobe. It was other innocent lives on that helicopter as well.
Yeah. Well, real quick before I give my thoughts. Shout out to Zach LaVine. NBA Central posted Zach LaVine towards ACL 4 years ago. He's now averaging 28.6 games and a first-time All-Star.
Let's go. Zach LaVine's my guy. I've always been a big fan of Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
I always thought that when they made the trade for Jimmy Butler, Minnesota messed up. It should have been Wiggins instead of LaVine.
Yeah.
But anywho.
Yeah. But anyway, as far as this goes, like you said, like rap is, especially during the early 2000s, like it was all punchlines. So it's like all punchlines, like all those like shock value bars. The Lil Wayne Emmett Till line. Everybody tried to put Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown in their lyrics.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson jokes as well. So it's like it's always been embedded in rap. My thing is that was it was the timing wrong? Yeah. Was it in poor taste? Yes. But to be honest, I feel like people are making it way too much of a big deal than what it is.
I think of because who it is and how it happened.
Yeah, it's because it's Kobe. I feel like if it was anybody else, I feel like it's a combination of both. It was because of Kobe and because Meek Mills has so much clout. So it's like what he does, it magnifies more of like what he does. So it's
Right.
like there's like another rapper, I forget his name off the top of my head. He also had a line about Kobe saying like, yo, if you I forget like exactly verbatim.
Forgot bull name, but he came out recently. I don't know a lot of these new rappers. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I'm like a '90s R&B type dude, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So I don't really listen to all that new music like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know bull name, but I know who you're talking about. Go to Twitter. Twitter gonna hit you with the news.
Yeah.
They're gonna give you that.
Yeah. So yeah, but listen, because it was Kobe, like I feel like everybody's gonna be like, but my thing is that like in the end, Vanessa's entitled to feel the way she does.
Absolutely.
Because it was her loss. Not only she lost her husband, she also lost her kid. So it's like stuff like that, what you're going through, it could be a trigger for you. But for her to say, like, listen, I don't listen to his music. So it's like, who told you about this then?
Oh, so, so come on. We all heard about it.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear the actual song that it came from, but I seen people make a big, make a lot of noise out of it. Especially, it's almost like Meek Mill been in the news for the wrong things for the past like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
like the week before the whole situation with 6ix9ine, and then now this week, the dropping the Kobe line. Which, hey, I mean, if people aren't being, uber sensitive, like it's not a terrible line.
Yeah.
Is the timing great? No, it's not. Timing's not good at all.
Yeah,
and we all love Kobe.
And honestly, at this point, I don't think it never is going to be.
No, I don't. No. So maybe Kobe's off limits.
Yeah.
But it's been something that's been happening for years.
Yeah. So it's like, do I fault Meek Mill for doing it? No. He apologized anyway for it. And listen, give it another week, it's going to be a non-issue.
Oh, of course. That's how news cycles in the new day and age.
Yeah.
Everything is just quick. Like it's just in and out like a light. So it really doesn't matter whatsoever.
Yeah.
You got any more before we get out of here? Any more hot takes on the Sixers? Anything else you want to address on them?
No. Go after Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be, your number one move. Then again, I don't know how Toronto feels like, trading within the division to increase somebody else's chances.
True.
And also at the same time, because I don't know, I haven't heard anything about on the Blake Griffin front. Blake Griffin does get bought out, and if you do trade for Kyle Lowry, get on that as well.
How you feel about Boogie Cousins with the possibilities? Because the reports came out again today that Houston is like legit releasing him.
Oh yeah, and I heard like LA's not interested in getting him.
Yeah, which I understand.
Yeah,
they might be smoke screening out there in LA though, because I'm still uncertain about Anthony Davis's health. Yeah. And LeBron is looking a little gassed right now.
Yeah, I know, but listen, I'm going by box score. It's 31-13-9 in overtime. I mean, even though they lost, but
right,
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That depends. Like at this point, who do you think brings more value to your team? Backing up Joel Embiid, Dwight Howard, or DeMarcus Cousins?
I would say DeMarcus Cousins, and the reason is because Dwight, like I do love his energy, but one thing that we're truly lacking right now is bench scoring. Now, one thing that I've noticed with DeMarcus Cousins play in Houston, he's not the type of, face up at the basket anymore. He might not back you down or anything like that, but he can pick and pop, and he could essentially be our stretch four. And the way that DeMarcus Cousins plays today, you kind of can play him and Dwight on the court together. So I truly wouldn't mind if the Sixers did go after Boogie. I wouldn't be hurt at all.
Yeah.
So I'd be cool with it. That pick and pop is dangerous, and he can shoot it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it definitely more Boogie, because he's still like he's able to shoot the three. If we're giving the ball to Dwight Howard on the perimeter, that ball just stopped, and now we're trying to get it back to a proper ball handler, or he doesn't play on the court at the same time Embiid does, but in most cases when he's doing the entry passes into the post, it's with Tobias.
Yeah.
So, one other question before we get out of here, we got 1 minute. Would you prefer to see Ben run more with like the second unit over Tobias?